After the first year we started UCSS, the Browns had Mike Priefer as their special teams coordinator. And we all said as a collective unit, he's got to go. And we were thrilled when they hired Bubba Ventrone, who was coming off leading Indianapolis' special teams unit, which was ranked across the board as one of the highest in football. Fast forward to present day, I'm not sure the Browns' special teams are ahead of where they were 2 years ago when the team let go of Mike Priefer. Bull, I'll start with you. How has this special teams unit gotten to the point where we're at now, where it's nothing, and I mean nothing, seems to go right anytime that group's on the field?
Yeah, and it's funny, last year, or 2 off seasons ago, it felt like they were making a point of acquiring guys, like lower roster guys that were specifically good at special teams.
Didn't Bull either have a couple of free agent signings or late round draft picks that
Naheem
were
Hines.
notable special teams contributors?
Well, yeah,
Naheem
2 years
Hines
ago
never
they
played.
did that. This past year they signed Naheem Hines. Now he's missed the whole season due to injury.
Jakeem Grant was supposed to be the one to fix it all.
Yeah.
And he, of
I
course,
remember
was
that.
hurt 2
Yeah.
years in a
And then,
row.
yeah.
So
First play of the
it's been a
preseason,
disaster. Right? Obviously, the punter is good, but we talked about this last week. He's not – the kicker's problems, that like he has nothing to do with the kicker. He can't. He's not a kicker. He doesn't know how to coach a kicker. Why the Browns, unlike the Ravens and – I mean, Ravens are probably the only team that I know of that does it.
I think it's a
They
deficiency
should have a
across the
specific
league.
kitchen. You got a multi-billion-dollar operation. Why do you not have a specific kicking coach?
Particularly when most games come down to 3 points.
That's what I said last week. It's
but
insane.
they have been so bad at especially punt returns since Josh Cribbs. I mean, they are awful. 2 weeks in a row you fumbled. Last week, I mean, they moved on from Tony, so what's the point there? The special teams is hideous. There's no part of this team, like there's no one coach you could point to and say, well, at least he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
You could argue that Stefanski, Dorsey, Schwartz, and Bubba Ventrone should all be fired.
Man, I just be tired of hearing these people with this the mental gymnastics with the waiver wire at the end of the year. The Browns are sitting down so-and-so and bringing up another guy from the Ford team. And
Yeah, but a lot of teams do that. A lot of teams
I
do.
mean, but they teams don't be terrible in special teams. Like, my thing is, I get it. You try to identify a special team, those guys got hurt. I just feel like they be putting people out there. Like this is unexcusable. What is Deontay Foreman doing returning kicks? Think about that.
Yeah.
He is a goal line back who can't even run on the goal line. You got him back returning kicks. That's the equivalent of a fullback. And he's returning kicks for you.
Now, Ford had a nice return yesterday.
But
He did.
But my question is, who saw that and was like, yeah, that's a great idea. They can't return punts. By the way,
You know why he's probably doing it? He can catch the ball.
Why not just make Ford the returner and get another running back? Like Ford has shown potential as a returner. Period.
It's ridiculous. Even we had it, and even not knowing the rules. You go back to the Jacksonville game. The Browns go down and cover a kick, get a fumble, and the kick gets overturned because
The kicker was
offsides. What do you mean?
By the way, I've only seen that called once all year.
And it was on us. That means you didn't know the rules. You didn't know. He didn't know the rules. And that's all you do all week is talk about special teams. You can't return anything. It just looks bad. It's like every other team. It's like when you have your mom and dad. They tell you you're going somewhere special, and the first thing they tell you is when you get in the car, boy, don't you embarrass me when we go in here.
Be on your best behavior.
You don't ask for nothing. Don't touch nothing. If they offer you something, you say no. I'm like, but it's a PlayStation, Mom. I said say no. We get embarrassed on TV. It's special teams. I just don't want to be embarrassed. And hear the announcers. Well, I don't know another penalty on the Browns. I just don't. It's special teams. It's supposed to be seen but not heard. And we keep getting heard. And that falls on Bubba Ventrone.
Where were you going where people were offering you PlayStation? My parents never took me there.
It was just even if they was offering you something good.
Cupcake.
Yeah,
Nope.
no, stop.
Yeah.
They were offering you electronic football. Remember that back?
Yeah, exactly.
With the lines.
With the 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
I think everything sucks. Everything's bad.
Yeah.
So you know how when you've got a baseball team and you're really good, but you got one hole, everybody else can kind of look at that dude and be like,
Yeah.
you're not it. You're costing us. There's none of that here. The defense can't look at the offense and say you guys aren't doing your part because they're not doing their part either. And special teams isn't doing its part. So it's almost like, losing breeds losing, winning breeds winning. When you're winning, nobody wants to be the guy that lines up offsides. I still can't understand how we had 3 plays in one quarter, the first quarter, when we should be most focused, where we weren't properly lined up.
No excuse.
I don't even know how that happens 3 times to one team.
Yeah.
So I think what's happening here is it's just general apathy. The whole team is eaten up with apathy. It doesn't matter if I don't do my job because he's not doing his, and neither are 51 other guys. So none of us do our jobs. That's how losing breeds losing. And that's why, on the flip side, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, no one is playing. The defense is playing well. But, when you look at their offense, I just kept looking at their offense going, I don't recognize this offense. This is not the Chiefs' offense. It's not Andy Reid's offense. Pat Mahomes is missing guys that are open. So all of a sudden, in 1 year, maybe it's because he shot 714 commercials in the offseason. Remember how we blamed Baker for that? I love you, Trav, but you're not getting separation.
Now, he's old. It might just be that.
Well, it's possible, but it also helps if you're not shooting, my God.
Yeah.
He and his brother are literally on 80% of the commercials on NFL games have one of the Kelseys or one of the Watts or all of them.
And think about it. Kelsey and Pat Mahomes, they'd be going through some stuff. Hey, it matters who you date.
No, clearly.
You're like, oh my gosh.
I thought it was funny. Everybody thought that Taylor Swift was going to be in town yesterday.
Yeah,
Even she decided, I can't watch that stuff. I can't watch this. I'm just now learning about football. I can't watch the Browns at the game.
Have you guys seen the movie Talladega Nights?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Classic.
You know how he loses his edge and all of a sudden he comes home and his wife's married to the other guy?
Yes.
There was a meme yesterday with that scene and Noah Gray, the Chiefs' backup tight end, was with Taylor Swift. Because he's been playing pretty well for them.
Yeah. But my point was, though the Chiefs aren't hitting on all their cylinders offensively, all they do is play down to their opponents and win by 1 point every week.
Well, except for this week where
in Cleveland's case, they're like, we got this by 14.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland's Cleveland.
Yeah.
But if you look at all of their games this season, they've been in a position to lose almost every single game in the fourth quarter. But what happened? They made plays when they absolutely had to, and everybody became Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce again, and they find ways to win where when you're going poorly and you're 3-10, you find a way to lose.
Oh yeah, that's why the Chiefs have a losing record against the spread because they haven't been
overly
covered impressive.
at all.
No,
I'm with you, man, Jason. We can't do this no more. McNuggets got us looking crazy. Remember during the offseason, what ways is Bubba Ventrone gonna utilize to play 3-dimensional chess with the new kickoff rules?
Didn't we make a I believe, if I remember correctly, that Earl, Anthony, and Mike at the beginning or the end of last season
behind the glass
made the top 25 most important Browns, and Jim Schwartz was like number 3.
I remember that.
That was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago?
Okay.
It was 2 years ago.
What happened to Jim Schwartz?
We were right. 2 seasons ago, he was great.
He was the assistant coach of the year.
Yeah.
I don't care about these stupid awards.
I just said it to
They're
irritate you.
narrative based.
I just did it to set you
off.
What happened?
Yeah.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't change.
He has a fastball. You know what happens in baseball if you have one fastball?
Guys adjust and start hitting it.
It don't matter how much hard you throw it. 100 miles, that's going over the fence.
The book is out, and it's play action and it's misdirection. We talked about it. I never did write the article.
You didn't even need to write it.
But the Texans exploited it.
Yep.
I've talked to people. The Texans went back and watched the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl when the Eagles won, but the Patriots hung like 600 yards on that defense.
Yeah.
East and West.
And they used that blueprint in that playoff game last year, and it's all misdirection and it's all play action.
That's what coaching is.
And
right
it
there.
gashes this defense.
Miles Garrett.
It did 10 years ago, and it does today.
Have you ever seen Miles Garrett on these read options? I mean, it's great. Like, he's over here.
Block him.
They just don't block him. And they're like, go ahead. Run in there.
What happened exactly to him, by the way? He got poked in the eye?
It looked like it. They never confirmed it, but it looked
he
like
was
it.
in terrible pain.
Yeah, I've never seen that reaction from
Well, have you ever
him.
taken a finger into the eye?
But what's
Like-
on the replay, you couldn't even see.
No, I never
It
saw
didn't
his
look like
fingers
it. It
get
didn't-
inside the helmet.
Right, and I'm sure they did. Like, I'm not.
No. Yeah.
But you just couldn't see
The
it.
amount of pain he
And
was
to
in.
his credit, that guy did go over and was like,
Joe Tooney.
apologized to him or said whatever to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was obviously not on purpose.
Yeah, and after Miles at the podium, and he even said, like, the lights are really bright in here. The light's really affecting me. It wasn't when it wasn't as bright. It wasn't as bad, but now with these lights, it's
Interesting.
He should be fine.
I commend him. I would tell, because seeing what happened to Nick Chubb, I'd be tempted to, if I'm not gonna trade Myles Garrett, I might just tell him, hey, listen, we're gonna get you that 100. If you get 100, you're done. We cannot afford you being hurt and damaged up. This is a wrap. We losing these next 3 games, and we playing DTR.